Hello, welcome back to TubeTalk.
Thank you, Douglas. Welcome back in level 3.
Yes.
Been any changes for you in level 3?
Not much, no.
What about, we got fish and chips the other night?
No, that was pretty good. And we get to have coffee.
Yeah, well, I get coffee, you get a hot chocolate.
Coffee.
Which we've done, which is nice. Funny how those little things that we took for granted on most days have now become treats, which is quite nice.
Mm. Okay. Should we get into it?
Let's get into it.
Last week, we had Man of SINN, who ran a fantastic third.
It was a really good third. He was only beaten by the barrier draw, wasn't he?
And he ran into Gold Coast.
Yes, at the Gold Coast. He got 1,400 metres. The wide barrier draw, ended up getting back basically to last. Strung out field. He came wide on the turn and rattled home. I actually thought he got second, but he got third. And if he'd drawn a good barrier draw, he would have won. I think that's pretty clear to see. He's a really exciting staying horse, and he's just been, at the moment, it was just that barrier draw, and you can't wait to get him out over more ground, because I think he's got a big future.
Okay. Also last week, we had Moobitters, who ran a very good second at WARWICK Farm.
He did, and we kept scratching and waiting for better barrier draws. We didn't get them. In the end, he had a poorish barrier draw, but we ran him because it had been 4 weeks between runs. And I was really pleased because he pulled hard in his first 2 races, but he actually dropped the bit this time. He got back second last and dropped the bit and relaxed, and that was great because that is the key for him being successful in Australia in the future. And he stormed home for second, a better barrier draw, and he could have been winning it or going close. So 3 starts in Australia now for a third and a second. He performed on good ground, and he's got a really, really bright future. He may have one more run before going for a spell. He's still green, still got a lot to learn. He's lightly raced, so he's exciting.
Okay. So moving on to this week, Friday at the Gold Coast is STARDOME in race 9.
STARDOME fresh up. He was in last week, but we scratched him. This is a much better race for him in his grade for good prize money. He has drawn really poorly. He's drawn like barrier 13. He might come in a few places to about 10. He is kicking off over 1,400 metres, and that is too short for him. He really is like a 2,000 metre horse. But we think he's coming up really well. It's going to be awkward from the draw. He's probably going to get back, and he might have to be 3 wide with cover and relax. But I think he can run a really cheeky race first up. I think it will be difficult for him to win over that short distance and fresh and from that draw. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him run a really, really cheeky race, and I think he's a good watch. When he steps up on ground, I think you can follow him with confidence.
Mm-hmm. And on Sunday at Bow Desert, race 1 is Man of SINN.
And look, this is a little bit of a surprise. Like Queensland announced their bubbles. I don't know whether they've extended or not, but Bow Desert wasn't in the bubble. It was the Gold Coast track to Toowoomba and Ipswich. And so maybe Bow Desert has been added to that bubble. So whether we run him or not, as we know, we just talked about how well he raced last week for third. It is quite a short backup from Friday to Sunday. It's 9 days. But if we're happy with him, he's got barrier 3, the 1,650 metres really, really suits him. He has got 60 kilos, and the next highest weighted horse in his biggest danger is 58, and they dropped to 55. So he's a clear top weight. He's only 3, but the 1,650 suits him. And if he runs, he's got to be awfully hard to beat. If he doesn't run here, he'll go to the Gold Coast for a $27,500 maiden next Friday. But it would be exciting to see him over 1,650 as he steps up over more ground.
Okay, and now it's time for Big of the Week. And this Big of the Week today at Kingston, race 3.
Kensington.
And
what day? Saturday.
Race 3 at Torotoro.
Toro! That's right. So Sydney races at Kensington, the inside track on Saturday. Toro was a horse that ran in one of the provincial finals. I think for $300,000 his last start, and I backed him. And he was backed in from about $10 to about $4. Like the money really came from, and he ran really well and ran second and finished hard. This race isn't as strong. but he does have more weight. He's got the top weight, and he has got an awkward draw of 11, and on the Kensington track, you can't get too far back. So those are things against him. However, it really is, I think, a drop in class, and James McDonald on board, he's not going to let him get too far back. I think he'll be very positive on him, and he'll probably get a position. Because of the barrier draw, and the weight, he may actually end up paying a little bit more than he should. Like he might be maybe even $4 or $4.50 or something like that. He might drift to. Could be wrong. He could start at $2, but I think he's a really good bet. So Toro is our bet of the week, Douglas.
And that concludes Tube Talk.
Thank you, and we'll see everybody next week. Hopefully, in the last full week of Level 2.
Bye.
Turn, Freemason is with him, wider out the second Mortgage and Fields of Omar, and further back is Helene Vitality, Northerly down to the 200, Childs pulled the whip, he's the leader from Freemason, Fields of Omar's coming down the outside, and then came Republic Lass, Northerly in front with 100 metres to go, Fields of Omar, Republic Lass are closing, Northerly in front, Fields of Omar tries hard, Northerly